Alright guys, welcome back. Patrick here. Today we have the midweek SPAC news and price update post-election edition, so November 4th. Today I want us to look at some of the SPACs that have merged over the past 6 weeks and then where are they now? Like what's happening with the stock price, what's happening with the news, if any, and then what's the support, what's the resistance. I know a lot of you are still holding shares, so often you ask me, well, what should I be doing with them? Of course, I can't tell you what you should do with your stocks, but I can tell you what I think is going to happen next. So first we'll look at Velodyne, then we'll look at Lordstown, Multiplan, Fisker, and then we'll close with Hyliion. Stay tuned, but please remember, like and subscribe, it really helps out. Alright guys, let's begin with the wonderful world of LiDAR technology and Velodyne. As you guys know, this company has really struggled over the past several weeks. Right now it's at $12.86, but at its peak it was above $25. So it has been very battered, down 50%. If we look at the market cap, currently it's at 2.2 billion, and you guys are going to see that this compares very reasonably to their competitors. So, I mean, I don't see a huge drop from here. If we look at the chart, you can see how big that drop was in the beginning, right? This company was way overvalued at $25. So it very quickly went from above 25 all the way down to 15, stabilized for a little while, then it dropped to a lower support level. So it seems like it did form a support at 1220, right? And then a peak of 1476. So I do believe that this company is going to be trading in that channel, but I think might go under $12. I think that the real channel for this company is going to be probably $10 to $15 for several weeks or maybe even several months because there's just not a lot of good catalysts. And actually, a lot of these companies, when in the LiDAR industry, are struggling like right now, as we'll see in a minute. But currently, the warrants are at 291, so there is a small premium on them. And I personally wouldn't be buying them, right? But since they're under $18, they're not going to be called for quite a while, and they could last as long as 5 years. So if you guys have them already and you believe in this company, I mean, you can hold them. I don't think they're going to really drop, but personally, I would not be buying right now. If we look at quiet period, right, tomorrow the quiet period for this company should be ending, meaning that if they have some announcements, they'll be able to start making an announcement, marketing the company a little bit more, and maybe generating some interest. So that's why this quiet period is very important for companies like these. So for those of you that are not familiar, the quiet period is an SEC mandated embargo on promotional publicity. This prohibits management teams or their marketing agents from making forecasts or expressing any opinions about the value of their company. Basically, they can't say, hey, 2 billions is underpriced. We have a bunch in the pipeline. For publicly traded stocks, the 4 weeks before the close of a business quarter is also known as a quiet period. Here again, corporate insiders are forbidden to speak to the public about their business to avoid tipping certain analysts. So they just can't talk about a stock a lot. So once this period is over, that's going to help them generate a lot more interest with retail investors and maybe institutional investors. So you guys should probably pay attention. Tomorrow, there is the Q3 conference call. So if they have stuff to announce or give guidance, tomorrow is going to be very important. You guys can watch this or listen to it at least, especially if you're interested in this industry. Now, the reason why I am skeptical about the industry is that there are multiple LiDAR companies and they're all not doing well right now. You guys know that I'm invested in Luminar, their direct competitor, so GMHI is stuck at the $10, even though they have very good news, right? They just announced a big partnership with Daimler Trucks that are going to be acquiring a minority stake in Luminar, and they'll make Luminar their main partner for their self-driving trucks program. So you would expect that the stock would be doing pretty well, but no, it's really not getting any boost from it. So currently, you can't tell from this, but currently Luminar is valued about 3 billion. So as you guys can see, VLDR Velodyne at 2.2 billion compares pretty reasonably to it. So another company actually came in the market called AIVA. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. They're going to be merging with IPV. And same thing here, you guys can see that they're stuck at $10. So this company is going to be valued at 2.1 billion from IPV. So all these companies are between 2 and 3 billion. So because of that, I don't think that there's a lot of downside left on Velodyne because of the fact that they're all in the same range. And it's not like the company isn't announcing anything. They announced a few weeks ago that they were going to have a 3-year sales agreement with Baidu. They're going to be selling the Alpha Prime LiDAR sensors. That's one of the ones that goes on top and spins. And then they have they're going to be partnering with a utility company for the line monitoring system. So they're expanding into other industries, and that's great for the company long term. However, as you guys can see, the problem is that all of these LiDAR companies are announcing great things, right? Great partnerships or sales agreements or mergers, and still nothing really happens to the share price. Right now, the market is just not accepting these companies. So because of that, I personally am debating whether I want to keep all of my shares of GMHI. I might actually scale out of some of them, keep some. Like I think it's a great spec play for the future, but in the short term, like I was banking on having a little bit more momentum than there is right now. So tomorrow will be a great time to watch a conference call, learn a little bit more about the company, and they should give some guidance as to what's going to come in the next few months. So if they announce something great, then we might have to reconsider this company. But for now, I'm debating if I want to really be involved with this industry on a large scale for the next couple of months. All right, next up we've got Ride, Lordstown. What kind of a meme stock is this, right? 1685, that's what it ended at, but during the day it went between 1655 and 1880. So what a roller coaster. This is why I call it the meme stock. Stocks like these that have a lot of hype and a lot of volatility, that will go up 10, 12% one day. Then at the end of the day, it's down 2, 3%, right? Massive, massive fluctuations on a day-to-day basis. And that's why often you can do some short-term profits. I actually did a day trade on this stock yesterday. I was able to buy it earlier in the day, and I sold closer to the end of the day, and I made a few bucks with it. So often you can abuse this volatility with these really hypey stocks, and that's why I tell you guys to keep track of those stocks that were really hyped up before, because even though they're going down now, when they rebound, they can rebound really, really quickly. So Lordstown, right, what can we say about it? Well, if we look at the stock, it is uncanny how the chart resembles the SPY. When the economy does well and people are confident, the stock goes up, and when people are not confident about the economy and the SPY, the stock goes down. So as you guys can see, right, it was trending down slowly, dripping until the second, and then it started to really go up really quickly. And at the end of the day, it retraced a little bit. Well, look at the SPY, right? It did the exact same thing. It was trending down slowly until the second, then it started to go up, and at the end of the day, it started to pull back a little bit. So they are just mimicking each other. To me, that is very uncanny, and it's a good thing to remember. So yesterday were the elections, and we're not going to get into politics themselves, but it looks like Donald Trump won Ohio. And you guys remember that during the race, they paid a lot of attention to Lordstown and that region. I mean, you had the vice president that went and met the CEO of the factory. You had the endurance pickup parked in front of the White House. They really highlighted this company over the past several weeks, and that was really great marketing for this company. Now, if he ends up winning the election, I think that that would be very good for Lordstown, and perhaps that is one of the reasons why the shares were up so much over the past 2 days, when people realized that, yeah, he had an actual shot at winning. I'm not quite sure, right? That's just me assuming, but it is very possible. However, what about if he doesn't win the election? I'm not going to go so far as to say it's going to hurt the company, but it is very possible that, the Democrats are not going to pay as much attention to Ohio itself, right? They're going to talk about the electric vehicles and the Green New Deal and all of that, but I think that for this company, it would be preferable if Trump won. So we'll have to see what happens with that. As I said, I'm not getting into politics themselves, but it is very possible that this was kind of helped a little bit by the polls that were a little inaccurate as usual. So if we get back to the charts, you guys know that I mentioned that this stock would probably go under $17, and it actually did. It went as low as $13 right here, right here. If you guys bought at these levels, I think you had a pretty good deal. This stock will probably rebound fairly quickly because within the next 12 months, they have some positive catalysts. They'll come up with their pickup, they'll start selling them. That's going to give people a lot of confidence to invest in this stock. Plus, we saw last time how quickly it went up. Well, that just tells you that people are willing to buy into this stock. They're just waiting for the right opportunity, and that's why when there's a little bit of momentum right here, people are just going to hop on. So with that said, I am a little bit skeptical about this sudden surge, right? Because all the headwinds that we had last week, we still have. There's the second wave happening, the election's probably going to be contested, and there's no stimulus package for a few months now. So because of that, I would be skeptical about jumping on right now. As you guys can see, it crossed on MACD. It's going back on a little downtrend, but we'll see if that holds over the next couple of days. And then it was overbought on RSI. So as I mentioned, I would personally wait until I got a bit more confirmation as to where we're going from here. I would not be surprised if this stock went back down. However, over the next several weeks, several months, I think that we're going back up to 2025. Now let's quickly talk about MPLN Multiplan. This is one of the weakest stocks so far when it comes to SPACs, right? You guys know that it always stayed between about 10 and 11.50, and as soon as the company merged, it started to tank. It went to the low sevens. So now, surprisingly, it has a little bit of momentum, right? It kind of surged today for some reason to 840, an increase of 9%. That is pretty spectacular because this company never really had anything going for it, right? And it's not like there's any great news or anything. The only thing that's noteworthy is that they announced that next week there will be the Q3 earnings conference call, November 12th. So I strongly encourage you guys to actually follow this because just like VLDR, if they have something to announce and if they give you guidance that are positive for the next quarter, that might very well help the stock. So if you guys have been following this stock, I really strongly suggest that you follow this. And also, not just that, but since the stock is under $10, this might be an opportunity to actually buy the stock at a discount and get a good deal. So if we look at the chart, right, you can see that it went down, it's been going down, but it finally found its support at $7.31. It actually hit it behind this plus here, right here also. And finally now it went up a little bit. But just like Lordstown, just like the LDR, I would not give too much credit for this little surge. We have no idea why there was a surge of buying here. Is it because the economy was surging today, right? The Dow and the SPY were up, or did someone just initiate a big position? We really don't know. One day does not make a trend, so I really want to see a little bit more confirmation for this. But again, if next week they announce like some positive guidance for the next quarter, right now you might be getting a pretty good discount if you get into this stock. This one we'll have to follow. MPLN, there's never been a lot of traction. Not a lot of people are following this stock, but it's one of the stocks that I told you guys. My new strategy is to wait until after the merger, see how they behave, and then I might be able to get discounts. So I'll keep track of this one. I'll report on it if anything comes out that's really noteworthy. All right, guys, next up we've got FSR Fisker. This is another really strange stock. It is very difficult for me to predict what's going to happen because the movements are very sharp and unpredictable. There's really no rhyme or reason to it, right? It's not like the company is moving up or down 10% based on news, like big announcements or they have earnings or, they have their technology platform. It is literally based on people's emotions that day. People are in a buying mode, so the stock goes up 10%. People are in a selling mode, so it goes down 7%, based on really not a lot. So if you look at it right now, it's at 1092, down 6% today. And if you guys notice, the volume has really dried up. Right now, it's at 10 million compared to the 23 million before. Right, this is a company that there was a lot of excitement when it merged. People love the design, but when it comes to the company itself, it is more like a design with a lot of money in the bank. They don't have their own production facility and they don't have their own proprietary technology. So I would strongly caution you about this stock. I do believe that it will continue to drop. But it did behave very differently from some of the other ones. I mean, I'll have to give you that. From the 18, it had dropped below $10 pre-merger. That was unusual. Usually they stay above 10. But then after the merger, instead of dropping further below 10, it actually rebounded up to $12. This was very unexpected. But that's the thing, is that this often will mislead people into thinking, hey, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the stock will rebound. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, as you can see, it's already retracing, and I do see this stock going further down under $10 until they actually have the pieces in place, right? The pieces of the puzzle. They need production facility, they need the technology. When they have both of those, then we'll can think that this is a real company. But for now, it is pure speculation, and I would not be surprised if this company keeps dropping. So I do not see this as a great play. This is by far the most speculative electric vehicle company. If you guys have to buy into an EV company, go with HCAC. I mean, they might drop under $10 too, but at least they have something going for them, right? They have the technology. This company doesn't have either. So because of that, again, that's just my opinion. This is an entertainment channel, right? Not advice, but I would stay away from this company until we have a lot more solid information on where they're going from here. All right, guys, in the close, we've got Hyliion. You guys have asked me for an update, and here it is. So what do I think about Hyliion? Well, I think that at $21, we're finally getting back to numbers where the valuation makes sense and where I think the company can consolidate and actually eventually recover. So here's why I like the company. Here's why I think that this is encouraging. If you guys remember, like if we look at the chart, you guys know just how badly this stock got battered. I mean, if you guys bought above 40, 50, I really feel bad. You probably weren't watching the videos, but now you might be stuck with this stock. So some people have asked me, Patrick, should I be selling? Well, first of all, I find it like it's too late now. Again, I cannot tell you if you should buy or sell, right? I'm just not allowed to. But personally, here's how I view it if it was my own portfolio. The time to sell was at $50. Now at 18, we're reaching that support level that is so crucial that I call the last line of defense. So I'm not really paying attention to this little surge, right? We saw it with all the stocks we've analyzed. So one day doesn't make a trend. Like it really doesn't matter unless it keeps recovering for the next couple of days, the next 2-3 weeks, then that's going to be more significant. But for me, this number, this is the period that really matters is that $18 because that is when during the summer the bleeding stopped. When it dropped from $33, it dropped to $18 and then consolidated, right? You can see this from July 27th ish to August 10th ish, right? So this period it consolidated at 18. That's when eventually it started to really go up. So this is why I call it the last line of defense. If it goes under that, then who knows what the floor is, right? Because the stock has never really been under $18. After the merger, or rather after they announced the merger, it immediately shot up very close to the $33 range, and then after that it went back down to 18. So because of that, we really don't know what's going to be the support under $18. So personally, remember guys, this is not advice. This is just what I would be doing. I feel like it is too late to sell the stock. This time to sell was in the high 40s, mid 50s, right? That's when I would have phased out of the stock. That's what I personally did. I sold the warrants at 22. Right? My price target for the stock was at 40, and we merged at 39.99. So I was very, very close. So when I look at the stock now, there's just less downside left than when it was much higher priced. So one way that I like to think about it is, let's say that the price was above 50, right? When it was at 55. Well, when the stock dropped by 10%, 10% is a fairly big drop considering in the stock market, right? Well, that's $5.50 per share. Now the stock is at $21. So if the stock drops by 10%, well, then your shares are down by $2.10. So that is still a big drop, but you guys understand that relatively it is a much easier impact on your portfolio than when the stock was at $55. So that's why I like this stock a lot more at 21 than when it was at 55, because the stock, even though there's possibility for it to go down, I mean, it's going to impact your portfolio a lot less than it did earlier. There's a lot less room to go down. I hope that makes sense, right? That's one of the ways that I analyze it. Plus, there's also a lot of positive news. If you guys remember that podcast that Thomas Ely, the CEO, did with JMac, he had mentioned that companies were calling them now and they were negotiating some stuff. So this company, just like some of the other ones, have announced that they're going to have the third quarter 2020 financial results on November 12th. Strongly encourage you guys to actually watch it. Of course, they're not really going to announce a lot of revenues. We know that this company is not really producing anything right now. But what's a lot more important is that they're going to talk about the company's business and outlook. So this is when they're going to start being able to talk about the guidance of what's coming over the next 12 months. And again, that it will help the company eventually when it comes to their share price, because that's what we want to know. We want to know what's going to happen. Are they going to have some partnerships? Are they going to have some more contracts? Because you guys know that this company only announced the 1,000 units contract, right? Since then, we haven't really heard a lot from this company in terms of actual revenues in the pipeline. So this is going to be crucial. This is another conference call that we will have to pay attention to. So final parting words when it comes to Hyliion. As I mentioned, I think it's too late to sell now. If I was to potentially sell some of my shares, what I would be doing personally, again, not advice, just how I handle my portfolio, I would probably be setting a stop loss under the support of $18, right? Let's say that I wanted to part ways with some of my shares, right? I've had so much money involved in this stock. Now I want to sell maybe 25% of my shares or something to free up cash for another investment. Well, what I would do is I would just set my stop loss, let's say at 1750. That way, if the stock recovers, right, if it keeps going up from here, right, where we don't know what's going to happen, maybe they'll announce something good or the economy suddenly recovers, who knows, and the stock keeps going up, well, then I have all my shares and I partake in that increase in share price. But if for some reason, it goes back on that downtrend, then I will sell some of my shares at 1750. Then whatever happens after that, I still have the rest of my shares. But so again, if I wanted to sell some shares, that's probably how I would do it. I would keep them for now in case it goes up, but I would have that stop loss in case it goes back on its downtrend. So guys, I hope that helped you. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I appreciate your support and your feedback. Some of you send me emails, some of you write comments. I really enjoy it. I love when we talk. So please like and subscribe. It really helps out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Tomorrow, I have a review on Finance of America, RPLA. Stay tuned. I like this company a lot. I think it has a lot of potential. It's going to release at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe. So see you guys tomorrow.